folks, welcome back. It's 4 p.m. and that means it's closing time for the markets, and we're going to watch them ring the closing bell. By the way, what a comeback today. Oh my gosh, I left the hotel room this morning going to the White House. We were down 800 points in the Dow. The Dow looks like it's going to finish about 100 points higher, 140 higher. Nasdaq was down 500, and it's almost unchanged, down a mere 15 points. Oil, really good. Some good news on the oil front. The oil prices are dipping. Oil's $58 a barrel. $58 a barrel. That is absolutely amazing. That's why inflation will be coming down going forward, because most things that are inflationary because of the price of oil. To transport a product from one side of the country or one side of the world to another costs a lot of money. You use a lot of fuel. To plant things, to harvest things, to cultivate things, you use a lot of fuel. So everything has an oil price baked into it. Oil prices go down. That's very good for the economy. It's good for inflation as well. I'm wondering if the comeback from 800 lower in the Dow to up 140 or so points is on the heels of a trade deal. Everyone's, in the markets, we have our eyes peeled right on the White House to hear what these deals are going to look like. And the reason why I bring that up is because my first guest today is White House Deputy Press Secretary Anna Kelly, who's here to talk to us about President Trump's fantastic first 100 days, that rally last night, the first 100 days. Thank you for joining us, Anna. And one of the things that strikes out to me as a business guy is the amount of investments that's been promised to the administration, to the American people, literally. I think Caroline Levitt today said somewhere in the neighborhood of $5 trillion. Tell us about that, if you will.
Yeah, well, we're actually at over $5 trillion in investments into this country, and it is truly the art of the deal at work. As you mentioned, this president and his entire trade team are hard at work negotiating deals on behalf of American people. For too long, this president believes under Democrats and Republicans, American farmers, workers, manufacturers have been left behind, and so this president is hard at work trying to make trade deals with every single country. I know you've heard some of those advanced trade deals previewed. Secretary Bessent talked about India yesterday. The president has mentioned Japan, Vietnam, all of these countries that are coming to the table wanting to negotiate with this president. And simultaneously, we're seeing this influx of investments because companies also know the only way to face no tariffs 100% is to come and manufacture in our country. So we're seeing great organizations like NVIDIA, like Johnson & Johnson, coming to the United States or expanding their operations here, creating great jobs and help us bolster that manufacturing industry that has been left behind for far too long.
Do you know the plan? So if there are deals that are being made, say Japan, India, if they're being made, are they going to be held back so that the group that's negotiating these trade deals can use that as leverage to other countries, or will they let us know? I mean, literally the markets are waiting with bated breath on the deals and what they look like. So I'm just wondering if anyone has a sense of if it's going to be released immediately or I'm going to use it. I have no issue with either one. Just what's the plan if we know?
Well, I will leave it to our fantastic trade team to kind of relay that strategy. As Secretary Bessent said, there is a benefit to uncertainty in terms of these deal making, right? In terms of making sure we're not previewing too much as far as what conversations are happening, so as to not affect these other deals. But look, the president has been very open. We have so many deals here on the way, making sure we're leveling the playing field with foe and friend, right? These trade deals have long hurt our industries, even in with relationships like the UK and others that are unfortunately still contributing to the hollowing out of our manufacturing here in the U.S. So this president, again, is committed to making trade deals with every single country, continuing to leverage the art of the deal to help get a better deal for farmers and workers here in the United States.
All right, folks, we're with Anna Kelly, the Deputy Press Secretary at the White House. Let's take a listen. That rally last night was fantastic in Macomb County, Michigan. Just the enthusiasm was there, and President Trump just loves. He just feeds off the energy of the crowd. Let's take a listen to the first soundbite, President Trump's speech last night.
But I'm thrilled to be back in this beautiful state. I love this state. Got a lot of auto jobs coming. Watch what's happening. The companies are coming in by the tens. You got to see what's happening. They all want to come back to Michigan and build cars again. You know why? Because of our tax and tariff policy. They're coming from all over the world. They're coming up and they're opening up plants and they're talking to us all day and all night. They want to get here and they're coming in at levels you've never seen before. And I want to thank the auto workers for your support. That was great.
And also, Anna Kelly, towards the end of that speech, maybe when he was done with his remarks, he turned and he embraces Governor of Michigan, Democratic Governor of Michigan, Gretchen Whitmer. Is Gretchen Whitmer going to go full-on MAGA as he turned her too?
We'll have to wait and see on exactly what Gretchen Whitmer's plans are. But look, what is so special about this president, he is willing to truly look anyone in the eye and meet with anybody to work on behalf of the American people of this country. The Gretchen Whitmer, of course, came to him with the vision of improving that base. He went to that base, delivered on this promise. He will listen to anyone who wants to share his vision of working on behalf of the American people. He will ultimately make the decision that he believes is best for the country. But you truly saw that at work last night in Michigan. Look, Gavin Newsom was also in the White House a few weeks ago. So I think this president is truly willing to look anyone in the eye, regardless of how they've covered him in the past. If they're a member of the media, we saw Jeffrey Goldberg here this week as well. And that's truly what makes him so special, because he is always willing to meet with anyone and ultimately will take any views into account, but will make the decision that he believes is best for the American people.
Yeah, he doesn't back away from any fight, and Goldberg kind of did him dirty, so to speak. Another thing he talked about last night, this is why the midterm elections are so important. You know, the Democrats, if they do retain or get the House back, they're going to go for an impeachment immediately. In fact, there's some lunatic lefty Democrat who's already talking about impeaching Trump if they get the House. Trump addressed it last night as well. Take a listen.
And today they did it again. Some guy that I'd never heard of. John James, is he a congressman, this guy? He said, ladies and gentlemen, I am going to start the impeachment of Donald Trump. What the hell did I do? Here we go again. They want to impeach me. This lunatic used up. Actually, I had the television way down, and I said to our great First Lady, listen, did I just hear I was being impeached again? We're getting good at this, though. No, they've gone totally crazy. We're taking back our country from a sick political class that got rich selling America out and bleeding America dry. We don't let that happen anymore.
And, you know, Anna Kelly, Donald Trump won Michigan by 2 million votes over Kamala Harris, a blue state. John James is a Democrat in the 10th district of Michigan. Very important to keep the House in midterms, right?
It sure is. And one thing I'll say on impeachment, you know, this is a fight that this president is used to, right? He is used to the I think 3 impeachment attempts against him in his first term, the weaponization of justice against him after his first term. This president never backs down from a fight. Of course, as he said, this is a total effort to impede on his agenda, right? Remember, as you said, President Trump won the state of Michigan handily. He won every battleground state across this country. He won the popular vote in this country. He is simply enacting the will of the people when he is launching this large mass deportation effort of migrant criminals, when he is cooling inflation, when he is securing the border. These are all universally popular policies that the American people want. And so whether it is activist judges, whether it is yet another impeachment attempt, this president will continue carrying out the will of the American people, and he will not be stopped by anyone.
I want the folks, I want the audience to listen. Annie, I'm sure you heard this as well. Stephen Miller, Deputy Chief of Staff for the President, policy specific, who's been on the forefront of the immigration battle of closing our borders with Trump since 2016. Very passionate man, good friend of mine, but very passionate. This 45 seconds or so from last night gave me chills. Take a listen.
Who's enjoying 100 golden days of America? President Trump has achieved the most secure border in American history. He's fighting violent crime. He's fighting the drug cartels. He's cutting your taxes. He's cutting wasteful spending. He's draining the swamp. He's standing up to the radical left. He's standing up to the communists, and he's making America stronger than it's ever ever been. President Trump will never stop fighting for you, your children, and your family. And President Trump will make sure that in this country, not illegal aliens, not criminals, not gangbangers, but American citizens come first, last, and always. Thank you. And thank you, President Trump, for being the greatest president in American history.
I don't know. It's almost like you close your eyes and maybe hear President Trump's own words with those words. What a powerful, less than a minute, literally, last night for Stephen Miller. Your thoughts?
Yeah, well, Stephen Miller, of course, is another member of President Trump's world-class team with him, with Caroline Leavitt, with Taylor Budowich. So many wonderful additions to this president's team. And, of course, Stephen has been with the president since the beginning, so I'm sure he is very used to his style. But, yes, this president has assembled a world-class team. And truly, I think what you heard in that clip and what you continue to see out of this building is we're all having so much fun. I mean, it's such an honor for all of us to have been part of the making promise to the people of Michigan and all across this country to, like we said, cool inflation, deport migrant criminals, restore common sense, and men and women's sports. All of these things that this president has so quickly delivered on in the form of 140 executive orders in just 100 days. I mean, it's truly unprecedented, and truly everyone in this building is so proud to be a part of it and so excited to be part of the new golden age of America.
And hats off to you and to Caroline and Stephen Chung, comms director, who put together such a great team. I mean, we had Chamberlain Harris on, we've had May Mailman on, and we now have Anna Kelly, all deputy press secretaries. You guys are doing a great job getting the word out. Congratulations, and thank you for joining us, Anna Kelly, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, before we head to break, I just want to remind you all about my podcast and the YouTube page, which are both updated daily. Of course, you can hear this show and tons of other content as well, anywhere, anytime, but you must subscribe. Hit the subscribe button. It's free. Don't forget, YouTube and Spotify, Apple, wherever you get podcasts as well. We'll be back in 2.5 minutes. Well, look at that. I see what you did there, Mad Dog. I see exactly what you did there. All righty. Okay, folks, a couple of days ago, it was April 20th to the 21st, overnight, middle of the night. I was at NASA on the East Coast, Kennedy Space Center, watching a SpaceX Falcon 9 rocket, so the joint venture between NASA and SpaceX, watch it take off carrying a cargo, the Dragon cargo spacecraft towards the International Space Station. I discussed this mission with the host of the David Pollock Show and politically uncensored David Pollock. Take a look.
When it lifts off, it's only going to take 11 minutes for that spaceship to get up to orbital velocity of 17,500 miles an hour. There's not a crew on board. All crew supplies going up to the International Space Station, they count on those supplies coming up. Each crew on the space station does about 200 experiments, anything from brain activity to nervous system adaptations to weightlessness. All this is aimed at really learning about what astronauts need when they go off into deep space for long duration missions to the moon and off to Mars.
Here to discuss this mission is the host of Politically Uncensored and the David Pollock Show. I'm happy to have David Pollock join us from outer space because he's moving like he's from outer space. He's on a boat.
Yeah.
Actually, David, good to have you.
Yeah.
Tell the folks about that space launch that we witnessed a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, I mean, it was such a cool experience. I mean, when you can experience a rocket launch from the coast, and we were 3 miles from the launch pad, you can see here in the B-roll. I mean, it's hard to describe the feeling and the power of that rocket. It literally vibrates your whole body. It was a really cool experience. And then we saw it go up about as far as it could. And you were really good. We knew the booster was landing back somewhere at Kennedy Space Center. Everybody's looking for it. And it lands, and I think you were the only one to actually catch any video of it. But it was a really neat experience.
Yeah, we may have some of that video here. Again, everyone's looking at this area. We thought it was going to land in one area, and I just happened to have my camera rolling. I'm like, wait a minute, there it is. And it was fascinating. But what's fascinating to me, you spoke to there were some people, Japanese people, I believe. And I think there were scientists who had some experiments on the rockets. Do you remember what the experiment was that they were sending up?
Yeah, that was actually really cool because I'm looking around looking for people to talk to, or like, hey, who can we find here? And then this bus shows up. I'm like, who are these people? Yeah, there was some Japanese, Chinese, people from all over the world. But an individual I was talking to was a German who was an engineer, is a rocket space engineer, and he actually had a payload that he secured on the rocket that was going up. So the company sends the team out to make sure everything goes up without a problem. And he taught me a lot about how the space station works. I asked him, I said, how does this work? Like, you guys just pay to put it up there? He's like, yeah, and we actually have to pay for astronaut time on the space station. And it's basically it's a laboratory that private companies contract to do their research. And it's a really cool thing. But he said, interestingly enough, SpaceX has made it so much more affordable for them to do that research because of the reusability of those rockets. So this partnership between NASA and SpaceX it's really good for both funding the research that we need to do as humanity, but also helping our companies develop zero gravity research at a more affordable price.
It's amazing, this partnership. It seems like a partnership made in heaven, at least business wise, because on one hand, you have the private entity SpaceX, which is allowed, they're going to be aggressive. They're going to push the envelope because they're private. They're worried about bottom lines. And on the other hand, you have NASA, who is a bureaucratic machine. It's the U.S. government, taxpayer funded, and they have to take things slower. But they have the research. They've got the data. They've got the experiments. They've got the history. And they've got the scientists who have the experience. What a perfect partnership.
Yeah, well, and let's remember what we were doing before SpaceX. We were paying Russia to launch our astronauts to the International Space Station. I mean, this was what we were doing. SpaceX came, they answered the call when the United States government was looking for partners to help us bring our own astronauts to orbit. SpaceX has perfected reusability. I think this morning I thought it was somewhere about their 475th launch with the reusability. I mean, they are really proving the model, and now everybody's doing it. Everybody is reusing rockets and making space travel more affordable. If we're ever really going to be interplanetary, we have to reduce the price of space travel because, I mean, you're dropping multi-million-dollar boosters into the ocean and having to rebuild them every time. So, yeah, it is pretty incredible what Elon Musk has been able to do with partnership with the United States government. And good on the United States government for recognizing that sometimes innovation can come from our private sector, and working together, we can accomplish amazing things.
Any truth to the rumor that we're going to send Katy Perry and Lauren Sanchez back up in a SpaceX rocket and just let them keep going? Just keep them. Let's not bring back we won't catch them with the chopsticks.
Eric, I don't know if those are rumors or wishes, but certainly if we're going to send Katy Perry back up, I want her to go much higher and maybe spend some time in orbit, like Boeing stranded those two astronauts for almost 8 or 9 months until Elon Musk rescued them.
As Disney says, sometimes dreams do come true. So this was part of a kind of like a news magazine, a documentary that we're putting together. We're fortunate to be involved with the crew from Mario and the Follows group. It's going to be fascinating. It's called On the Ground, and we're going to go into some really, really interesting places you wouldn't normally see, like a space launch, but other places like behind the scenes in a combat zone. It will be embedded with some military types on both sides of conflicts, and in the Gaza Strip too, where there's still confrontation and danger.
Yeah, I mean, look, that's where journalism is going. I mean, you remember back in the day, you used to have to be associated with some big network and be embedded and have these credentials to go out and bring people information. And unfortunately, we've learned over the years that sometimes there's filters for that information and it doesn't get to reach the people in its purest form. What we've been able to do with this alternative media and platforms like Mario's, where we're able to go to on the ground and actually bring you real information without corporate filters or narratives or talking points. And that's the real power of this new media that we get to be involved in. And that's bringing people truth, unfiltered truth. And so I'm really excited about the opportunity to get on the ground and share these stories with people. Absolutely.
It's amazing. And this was all born when Elon Musk was ticked off at CBS in 60 Minutes one day. And he literally tweeted or X'd, he said, if someone puts up a show called 69 Minutes, I'll fund it or I'll support it. And Mario got this deal. This group got the deal. And now there's a 69 X Minutes that airs every Sunday at 4:20 p.m. And then this On the Ground is a spinoff and a lot more to come. Final thought, David, before we go. You're almost you're an experienced space launch dude, right?
Yeah, I might as well be an astronaut at this point. I'm more of an astronaut than Katy Perry at this point.
You are. You absolutely are. I mean, she literally only, I think she was flying just above where a Delta flight would fly. But, all right,
Right,
Dave,
my
we're
kite.
going to leave it there. I think the launch, and pun intended in this case, the launch of the On the Ground show will be, I'm hearing May 1st, but we'll let you know all about it. David Pollock, thank you so much for joining us.
Eric, thanks for having me. It's been a lot of fun.
All right, bye-bye. All right, we'll be back 2.5 minutes.
It's a cargo spacecraft. It's going to come back about a month later. So they'll reach in with a robotic arm and pull those payloads out. For space station itself, the operations are about $1 billion. Then cargo crew transport about $1.5 billion a year. A bargain like you wouldn't believe. That's building the commercial economy.
All right, let's take a look at that. Where is that, Mad Dog? I'm as you can see, folks, I'm in D.C. I'm wearing a suit only because I was at the White House today. I'll get to that a little bit later in the show, so don't get used to the suit. But can't see the shot, the bump-in shot. Oh, Washington. Oh, look at that. I can see it on my Rumble feed. Look at that. That's the National Mall right there. That's, on one end is the White House, and the other end is the Capitol. Right down the middle, you have the Washington Monument. That's a beautiful shot. All right, folks, Donald Trump's first 100 days as president are officially in the books, because he did this once before. So this is the second 100 days. Got it. Despite what the media wants you to think, Americans are absolutely fired up about where this country is headed. Just listen to the reception that man got yesterday when he took the stage at the rally in Michigan, the blue state of Michigan. Listen to how much they love Trump here. Watch. It was wild. The place was going crazy. The president flew through several topics that we should all expect to hear quite a bit about in the coming weeks. He introduces this one thing. One big, beautiful bill is what he calls it, a concept that's being worked on at the White House that will, according to the president, make just about everything better here in America. Listen.
In the coming weeks and months, we will pass the largest tax cuts in American history, and that will include no tax on tips, no tax on Social Security, no tax on overtime. It's called the One Big Beautiful Bill, and it will be the biggest bill ever passed in our country's history. It will include the biggest tax cuts, regulation cuts, military supremacy, and just about everything else. We will cut more than $1 trillion in wasteful and unnecessary spending. And in the next fiscal year, it'll all be done. We're going to have something that you won't even believe. We will end inflation, slash prices. We've already ended inflation, raise wages, and give you the greatest economy in the history of the world. That's already happening. With our tax bill, the average family's take-home pay will be at least $5,000 more than it was just a couple of months ago. We will always protect Medicare and Social Security for our great seniors with no cuts, and we will defend Medicaid for those great people that are in need.
Folks, if you didn't listen to it, I was down with Bannon last night at the War Room, and we listened to it. He was so fired up. He was living, he was feeding off the energy of that crowd, and it was very, very strong energy. Another key issue to the president, something very important to the president, voter ID. Something that the Democrats despise for some reason. I mean, what's so bad about making sure you're an American when you're going to vote in American elections, right? Well, Trump did hit on that topic last night, and here's what he said about it.
I also signed an order to require proof of citizenship to vote in American elections. That was easy. And the Democrats fought me on that. Think of it. Why would they want no voter ID? Because they want to cheat. Why would they want to have no proof of citizenship? We don't want it. We trust everybody. No, they want to cheat. That's all they want to do. Think of that, no voter ID. In Michigan, you must never allow ranked choice voting to be here. Never.
So right, so right. Of course, it wouldn't be a Trump rally if the Biden crime family wasn't mentioned at least one time. Here's Trump keeping old Joe's sinister I mean, sinister legacy alive.
I stripped the security clearances of the disgraced intelligence agents who lied about Hunter Biden's laptop from hell. Remember the laptop from hell? Remember the laptop from hell? When you had the 51 agents, they said, oh, Russia did it. Russia did it. Russia did everything. Russia did it. And it was all like horrible, disgusting stuff.
He was in his element, man. He was just feeling it. He was feeling the love. He's funny as hell, too, by the way. The whiny liberals want to hate on Elon Musk and Doge. Yet this little Trump and Musk passion project has saved the American people boatloads of money. Don't take it from me. We'll listen to the president.
Who's enjoying 100 golden days of America? President Trump has achieved the most secure border in American history. He's fighting violent crime. He's fighting the drug cartels. He's cutting your taxes. He's cutting wasteful spending. He's draining the swamp. He's standing up to the radical left. He's standing up to the communists, and he's making America stronger than it's ever been. President Trump will never stop fighting for you, your children, and your family, and President Trump will make sure that in this country, not illegal aliens, not criminals, not gangbangers, but American citizens come first, last, and always. Thank you. And thank you, President Trump, for being the greatest president in American history.
Okay, well, that was obviously the passionate Stephen Miller, which we talked about a little bit earlier. He was amazing. That was just a great 47 seconds of Stephen Miller. But let's do talk. A lot of people are waiting to see what's going on with Doge, with Trump and Elon Musk. And earlier today, in the cabinet meeting in the White House today, they were very close. Musk and Trump were very, very close. A lot of people on the business community waiting to see if Musk is going to leave Doge. But take a listen to the president talking about Elon. Do we have that, MD? You got that soundbite?
No, I have the last one.
Okay, we don't
I'm proud
have that.
to be the president for the workers and not the outsourcers, a president who stands up for Main Street, not Wall Street. You know, I like Wall Street. I like Wall Street. I have a gorgeous, beautiful building on Wall Street, 40 Wall Street. Anybody? You want a little space? I'll get you some space real quickly. Now I've got one of the most beautiful buildings in the world on Wall Street, but I still like Main Street because you're Main Street. I want Main Street over Wall Street. And we want to protect the middle class, not the political class. That's all. I haven't done this very long. We want to protect our people.
And that went on for a good hour and a half. So he was in the element. He had a great night, and that was to celebrate his first 100. Can't wait to see what the next 100 will be like. All right, we'll be back in 2.5 minutes. Okay, Mad Dog, is this, because my little return in the DC studio is really tiny, can't really see it. Is that by chance pickleball court, New Jersey? Is that
Actually, it's Bridgewater.
I'm looking at my dog.
Wrong last time.
But it's what you call pickleball court, New Jersey, if I'm not mistaken, the first time. About right?
Yes, right. I did. It was.
By the way,
it was pickleball court.
100 days. 100 days. Well, 100 days plus one. That's where we are today. 100 days plus one into Trump's 2.0. That's just 100 days out of 1,500. I know that it's the marker, the one the media uses to neatly package the beginning of a presidency and what it means moving forward. But this isn't your typical presidency. I say it with honesty. It's not your typical president. President Trump wasn't just jumping into your regularly scheduled programming. He was completely erasing whatever programming was there, restoring the original factory settings and starting from scratch on presidencies. Completely topple whatever it is that the last 4 years, and maybe if you add Obama's 8 years, the last 12 of the last 16 years, what they were building and what they destroyed in America. This is called the long game. Trump's playing the long game. We've played the short game for too long. Where has it left us? All you have to do is look at this one fact to explain where we are as a country divided. California Democrats just voted for child trafficking in the name of equity, while the Trump administration actively tries to remove child traffickers from the country. That's right. That one fact right there, all you need to know. And the media, as we say here, every single day has learned absolutely nothing, which is why I was so surprised that President Trump would sit down with ABC for an interview. And watching it, you can understand why. When I heard about it, I was like, it doesn't make sense to me, but it was amazing what he did. He minced that guy, Terry Moran. Time to call out some of the best moments. Remember that pivotal point of Kamala Harris's campaign? The interview heard around the world as the world watched in shock and unavoidable discomfort, watching her word salad through and through, unable to explain her failures as a VP, unable to disassociate herself from the disaster that was Bidenomics. Well, this ABC news interview, was quite the opposite. I would place this firmly as an absolute W for President Donald John Trump.
Do you acknowledge that under our law, every single person who gets deported gets a hearing first to make their case?
Well, are we talking about people that are citizens of our country or not?
No, you aren't deporting citizens at this point.
Well, let me ask you, did they get hearings when Biden allowed 21 million, because I think the number is 20 million people to flow into our country?
Well, I got this interview, Terry Moran, he looks, I don't know, like ABC sent out one of their backbenchers, one of their most powerless hosts. Hitter, backbencher, guy who sits the bench for this one, Terry Moran. Boggles the mind that they sent Terry Moran out there. I mean, they have Stephanopoulos, they have David Muir, but somehow Terry Moran was the guy. Maybe because Stephanopoulos and David Muir are fighting all the time and they couldn't decide who was going to get the big Trump interview. Well, the answer to the president's perfect clapback is no, they didn't. Kamala said, don't come. And then millions came right back in illegal invaders. President Trump is right. No legal issues bringing in 20 million invaders to vote for them, but it's somehow illegal to toss them out. Please help us make sense of it. That's nothing. It got really heated when Terry Moran asked about Hegseth. Watch.
A very good defense, hopefully a great defense secretary, but he'll be a very good defense secretary.
You have 100% confidence in
I don't have 100% confidence in anything. Okay, anything. Do I have 100%? It's a stupid question. Look,
it's a pretty important position.
I have no. You don't have 100%. Only a liar would say I have 100% confidence. I don't have 100% confidence that we're going to finish this interview.
What a stupid question. How about some of the other questions other than that? 100% confidence, propaganda. That's such a genuine and perfect answer to that question. Terry got a similar smackdown when asking President Trump about Vladimir Putin.
Do you trust him? Do you trust him?
I don't trust you. I don't trust a lot of people. I don't trust you. Look at you. You come in all shooting for bear. You're so happy to do the interview.
I am
and
happy.
Then you start hitting me with fake questions. You start telling me that a guy whose hand is covered with a tattoo doesn't have the tattoo. You know.
All right.
I mean, you're being dishonest.
No, I'm not.
Let me
No,
just
I am not.
Do I trust? I don't trust a lot of people.
That was so good. I don't trust you. I don't trust. So good. And trust is right. That moment President Trump is referring to about the tattoos is about Abrego Garcia and the media's insistence on lying to the American people about Abrego Garcia's gangbanger status.
By law.
And you'll pick out one man, but even the man that you picked out, he said he wasn't a member of a gang. And then they looked, and on his knuckles, he had MS-13.
There's a dispute
Well,
over
wait a minute. He had MS-13 on his knuckles tattooed.
He had some tattoos that are interpreted that way. But let's move on.
Wait a minute. Hey, Terry.
He did not have the letter MS-13.
It says MS-13.
That was Photoshopped. So let me
That was Photoshopped. Terry, you can't do that. Hey, they're giving you the big break of a lifetime. You know, you're doing the interview. I picked you because, frankly, I never heard of you, but that's okay. I picked you, Terry. But you're not being very nice. He had MS-13 tattooed.
Right, we'll agree to disagree. I want to move on to something else.
Terry, do you want me to show you the picture?
I saw the picture.
And you think it was Photoshopped? Well,
here we go.
Don't Photoshop it. Go look at his hand. He had MS-13.
He did have tattoos that can be interpreted that way. I'm not an expert on them. I want to turn to Ukraine, sir.
Terry,
I want to get to Ukraine.
No. He had MS, as clear as you can be, not interpreted. This is why people no longer believe the news, because
when
it's
he was
fake
photographed
news.
in El Salvador, they aren't there. But let's just go on. They aren't there when he's in El Salvador.
They weren't
Take a look
there,
at the
but they're
photograph.
there now, right?
No,
but
they're there in
now.
your picture.
Terry,
Ukraine, sir.
he's got MS-13 on his knuckles.
All right.
Okay?
Well, we'll take a look.
You do such a disservice.
We'll take a look at
Why
that,
don't you
sir.
just say it? Yes, he does. And
And then the topic turned to Joe Biden and his dementia, and this happened.
I was elected to take care of a problem. It was a unforced error that was made by a very incompetent man, a man that turned out to be incompetent, that you always said was wonderful, a great genius, right? And now you find out, all of the media now, they're saying, what a mistake they made.
What a mistake they did make. Here is the big guy, dementia, Mr. Dementia and sleep. By the way, just this week, proving that elderly abuse is a real thing in the Biden household.
I see. I'm just following my orders here. Staff, if anybody haven't spoken to... No, I ain't calling on you. I'm calling. I said I had 5 questions. Anita, VOA.
And you know, folks, this whole idea that over the weekend, the White House Correspondents Association gave an award to a guy who said, we missed it. We missed the Joe Biden demise. And somehow that was okay for them in hindsight after spending 4 years covering up for him. And then saying, they didn't apologize, just said, we made a mistake, we missed it, it's BS. As is Jake Tapper saying, writing a book saying we missed it. You didn't miss it, you covered up for him. And then you clap and applaud yourselves, pat yourselves on the back saying, oh, we admit we missed it. Well, you didn't until Trump won, and he's showing you the door, maybe even the door through, that goes right through legal courthouses. All right, done with the media. Before we go, I just want to tell you a little bit about a show that I will be hosting, show you a little piece of trailer of this brand new show that's coming up only on X. Elon Musk is supporting a group of us doing some really cool stuff on digital. Take a look at this trailer, and we'll go to break right from the trailer. Watch. Every story has a beginning for us. It begins right here in the middle of a pitch black starlit night just a few yards from a launch pad. Attached to it, a smoldering rocket awaiting its final countdown. All eyes lifted skyward as fire and thunder carry a crew towards the stars. This is the debut of On the Ground, a series built on presence, on proximity, on bearing witness to moments that shape our world. From war zones and natural disasters to scientific breakthroughs and space flight, we will bring you closer to the human pulse behind the headline. On the Ground, we go where the stakes are highest and the access is rare. Okay, Doug, where is that? Because again, my return on
It is North Dakota.
Screen right now. North Dakota, excellent. Not as opposed to South, Christy Nome, South Dakota, or Mount Rushmore. Are they making room? Let's bring in Steve Bannon and ask him this question. Are they making room for the 5th portrait on the side of Mount Rushmore for Donald Trump to be up there as well? Steve, what do you think? Is that happening? By the way, thank you for letting me join you last night for 4.5 hours of coverage of the rally. It was a lot of fun.
What do you mean for to join me? You were the wingman. You were magnificent. I had a great time. Tremendous feedback. Although I did think Ted Nugent probably stole the show from everybody, except for the president. It was fantastic. Loved doing it. Great feedback, and it was good to have you here and get to hang out.
Yeah, it was really good hanging out in the war room again. I hadn't been there in maybe 4 or 5 years. It was awesome. And to watch the rally with you, it's great.
No, it was great. And President Trump, let me ask you a question. When you talk about Mount Rushmore, was that Christy Nome that was there meeting the president yesterday in his motorcade? Was that cosplaying Christy? What is the story with this? Christy Nome is like she's so in people's heads.
She would listen, it was Gretchen Whitmer who looked like she was doing her best Christy Nome impersonation, and she did a great job. And I don't know, if I'm Steve Bannon, I'm talking to the White House saying, hey, get her in, put her in the administration, get her out of the way in 2028. She wasn't going to be a problem anyway.
Hang on, Brian Glenn confirmed it. He said he got off the back of Air Force One on the back steps where the media and the security come out. He looks down at the receiving line, goes, what in the hell is Kristi Noem doing here? That was the first thing in his mind. I don't know, man.
She's good.
I don't know.
She'd be a good MAGA, and you're teaching me embrace the left. That Lindy Lee, that friend, that lady who was a big donor and advisor to both Biden and Kamala, who now is MAGA as of November 6, 2024.
Bolling,
I have a problem.
Hang on. Before you start embracing the Rumble chat in your show. Just embrace the Rumble chat. We'll go from there.
You know what, Steve?
Elbows
last
up.
night, they were first mad at me about my tariff stance, and after we had a little conversation about Donald Trump and myself meeting at the surf club in the late 80s in New York City, and he danced with my date, and they I don't know, for some reason that was the turning point. You pulled that out. You snagged that little piece that helped a lot.
Hold it, hang on. Bolling. I don't know if a guy sending his bodyguard over to ask if your date will dance with him is you meeting Trump. I don't know if that's on the.
No, you're correct.
In the memoir, we're going to have to work that story.
Well, I think, so years later when Celebrity Apprentice happened, then Celebrity Apprentice, and then years later at Fox, and I reminded him of that story, and he does remember that night too, because she was beautiful, and she went over and hung out with him. I did get a chance to go to the White House today and meet with Caroline Leavitt. Do we have time to do this? You have Trump coming out. Mad Dog, what's happening? What's going on?
Trump is coming out right now.
The only thing we have to jump for, hold it. We're going to go into our show. I want to do this. It's fantastic. You guys are over there. The only thing we're going to jump for, as soon as the president walks in to give this technology speech, we're going to jump. And my producers here is going to give me the signal. But go ahead.